Got it.
And you tell me when you're ready and I'll let everybody in.
Okay, almost ready.
Okay.
There we go. As that get here. I'm not doing a PowerPoint, but I am pulling visual aids and I'm just trying to make sure I have everything ready here. Okay, very good. How do I get back to the Zoom? I need to record it to the cloud. And then, all right, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Let them in.
Hello, hello. I guess nobody can hear me yet, probably. Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody's having an amazing day. I am super excited to be here. I just came back from an absolutely phenomenal event, and I absolutely love talking about what we are going to be talking about. Tonight, we're talking about chakras. So, oh, cool. Hi, Sabrina. If you guys can drop a 1 in the chat, if you have learned anything about chakras in the past, and a 2 in the chat if this is the first time you are learning about it. So a 1 if you have studied this, you know a little bit about it, and a 2 if this is the first time that you have learned about it. A little bit of participation. 1.5. I love the 1.5. 1 very little. Okay, cool. So that's it. Nobody else? Okay, fab. First time. Ooh, yay. This is exciting. Okay. So the reason that I want to talk about this is because chakras are just energy centers. So for those of you that have never learned anything about this or have only learned a little bit about this, chakras are energy centers. And I've had conversations with people before who have told me that they don't believe in energy centers or that chakras are kind of against their beliefs. And I'm definitely not here to knock on anybody's beliefs, but it's not like it's not something that I believe is arguable. Like, we are energy. Everything that we exist from is energy. And all chakras are really is just a reference point for you to understand like what energy center focuses on what part of your body. And there was something that I learned, I can't remember from where, but it was recent, and it was about your energetic electric field. I may have talked about it on a previous call, but it just further solidified what it is that I have already learned about, because I actually received a certification in chakra healing way back when, like 4 years ago, when I first started studying yoga teacher training and meditation. And that's where I was first exposed to this information personally. Even though I had heard of it, I didn't know what exactly it meant. So, I did definitely talk about on a previous call where like your energy field expands 4 to 6 feet to your left and right, and up to 10 feet above your head, meaning that when you're surrounding yourself by other people, your energy field is coexisting and or colliding with and or combining with other people's energy fields. So I'm going to share my screen. I don't have a PowerPoint for you guys because I actually just pulled all of this information from my notes and the notes that I have studied. And after I got my certification in chakras, I bought like 5 books and I studied. Oh, you got a Vinyasa 200 hour. Amazing. Congratulations. I love that. I love that. So I actually geeked out on chakras after I got my certification. I learned a lot, but I was like, I feel like there's more knowledge out there. I want to dive deeper in this. So I took everything that I learned from like 4 or 5 different books, and I put it in this handy dandy notebook that I just wasn't trying to recreate into a PowerPoint, primarily because I just got back in town last night and I've been traveling like a crazy person. So I'm going to share my screen though, just for a little bit of a visual aid. for those of you, whether you know about it or not. So this is just a picture. You've probably seen this picture before of chakras, right? And if you've ever seen this picture and you're like, I have absolutely no idea what that means. Well, what this is a representation of is each of your 7 main chakras. Now, you've got way more than 7 chakras. There's actually more than 7 main chakras. There's more like 12 main chakras, but the other ones after 7 extend way, way, way above your head. We're only going to focus on the 7 main ones that are like the mainstream chakras that people talk about and that may have been something that you've been aware of in the past. So for now, I'm just going to have this picture in the background while I kind of unpack a little bit about these different chakras. So, let me see, where's my little chat box? Okay, so I'm going to be chatting in here as well, just to spell some of these words because they're not all easy to spell. This was first discovered, I think, in India. This information that I originally studied it in was in a language called Sanskrit. Sanskrit is a dead language that's no longer used, but the words of that describe a lot of this stuff is actually in the Sanskrit language. So I'm going to be speaking English. Don't worry. We're not going to be learning a new language today, but I wanted to just let you know that that is something that's where it was originally derived. So the first chakra we're going to talk about, this red one here. It is called the base chakra sometimes, or the root chakra, but in Sanskrit, it's called Muladhara. And I probably am not even pronouncing it right, but Muladhara. Okay. So root, Mula means root in Sanskrit, and Adhara means existence. So root chakra means Muladhara, that word, it means root existence. And so this particular chakra, it governs the foundation of your life. It is all about your core issues, your basic needs, your sense of security, your home, your family, how you feel in your body and how you feel on this earth. And oftentimes, especially if you're running around like a crazy person, probably anyone who's a woman, right, doing 500 million things all over the place and, balancing the work-life balance, many times you might find that you feel, maybe this is a word that's been more commonly used recently, ungrounded, right? And if you feel ungrounded, then it's likely that your root chakra is going to be a little bit out of balance. So I actually was just having a conversation with a friend of mine in Montana, and she travels way more than I do, which is crazy because I feel like I travel more than I am at home. And she was telling me that she was having hip frustration, that her lower back was irritated, and that she was having digestive issues. And I was like, I think your root chakra might be out of balance. She's like, oh my gosh, I never thought of that. So when your root chakra is performing optimally, you feel an inner sense of security and you feel like you can think clearly, you can concentrate easily. It's easy for you to set goals. It's easy for you to prioritize and carry out your tasks and reach the goals that you've set for yourself. You feel calm, you feel steady, you feel graceful, you have good energy. You feel, there's that word again, grounded, but flexible, right? Grounded doesn't necessarily mean that you're rooted in place, just that you feel stable and secure. And so that you feel a little bit more powerful. You feel resourceful, you feel courageous. If your root chakra is out of balance or blocked, it's likely that the ones moving up as we go through this path are also out of balance or blocked. So I'm going to give you some symptoms or signs of underactive or overactive root chakra, which both of those mean that it's out of balance, that it needs to be cleared, that it needs to be opened, that it needs to be put back into balance. So if your root chakra is underactive, then you're going to feel restless. You're going to feel lethargic, maybe, possibly anxious. You might feel panicky, frustrated. You might feel angry. You might feel resentful and disconnected from yourself and from the world. Low self-esteem, pessimistic, insecurity, lack of safety, not fitting in, overwhelmed, disorganized. It's difficult for you to focus. And again, you feel ungrounded. If your root chakra is overactive, which again is also out of balance, then you might feel that your energy is working overtime. You're easily annoyed. You might feel angry and aggressive at the slightest provocation. Too attached to your physical, too attached to materials, overindulging in money, overindulging in food and sex, resistance to change, obsessed with feeling secure. Now, I've definitely been in all of those places. Drop a 1 in the chat if you felt any or all of those symptoms, those signs. Like, yes. It's easy for us to throw our root chakra out of balance. Now, when you get into this space, there's going to be real or perceived threats. Your sense of basic security is completely out of whack. You might feel insecurity regarding a job or a relationship, or there may be fear just being your driving emotion, and you might have unresolved childhood events. Now, the thing that I thought was mind-blowing is that not only do these chakras affect your emotions, they also affect your organs. They affect the way that your body functions, because it's an energy center and it governs not just your emotions, but also your organs. So the organs that your root chakra governs are your adrenal glands, your bladder, your kidney, and all of your lower extremities. So your legs, your knees, your feet, right? If you have legs, knees, or feet pain, I've been having a lot of knee pain, which is finally going away. And then physical symptoms that you might experience, because the other ones were kind of emotional, are constipation, weight issues, digestive issues, eating disorders, fatigue and lethargy, anxiety, which isn't really physical, but including panic attacks, the feeling of unsafe, negativity, pessimism, and difficulty concentrating, and clumsiness. Super interesting. So let me show you this. This is a post that I made a long time ago, and I just want to show this to you guys. So it's a lot of the things that I already said, but the root chakra is located at the base of your spine, and the color that correlates with it is red. The element that correlates with it is earth. And then each chakra actually has a mantra that you can repeat or you can listen to on YouTube. Bless you. That you can listen to on YouTube. And that's pronounced, that mantra right there here is pronounced LAM. And then this is all the stuff that I just explained or just went through. But the reason I pulled this post up is because I wanted to show you this here. How to balance. So how you balance your root chakra is walking barefoot on the earth, grounding. And some of these things that I'm sharing with you, they'll balance all of your chakras. So walking barefoot on earth is one of them that balances all your chakras. But walking barefoot on the earth is going to ground you. Spending time in nature is going to ground you. Wearing the color red, surrounding yourself with the color red, eating root vegetables, eating foods that are red, breathing exercises and meditation, practicing gratitude and affirmations. And then I've also included some of the crystals that may work to balance the chakra. And you can take what works here and leave what doesn't, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. I'm just sharing with you all of the different ways that I have found to balance, okay? So the red jasper, the garnet, or the red carnelian, and you can also use aromatherapy, and grounding oils are cedarwood, frankincense, good for all chakras. Frankincense is good for all chakras. Myrrh, cardamom, carrot seed. And this is just a few ways to balance these chakras. So again, I posted this forever ago, back in January of 2021, but I just wanted to share that with you here so that you could see some of the ways that you can balance this. When your root chakra opens, you might feel heat in your low back. You might feel tingling, a sensation as energy begins to flow. You might feel vibrations across your entire body because your root chakra is actually moving energy into your entire being, right? Remember I said when your root chakra is blocked, sometimes it's going to cause blockages in your other chakras as well. When you open this chakra, you might have food cravings, or you might have a shift in your appetite. You might feel your feet more than you felt them before, like maybe your feet feel heavy. And you might have a reappearance of prior ailments, aches, pains, digestive issues, fatigue. It's the same thing that happens to you when you detox your physical body. Like most of you know that I drink Kangen water. If you just start drinking Kangen water and you weren't drinking that water before, you're going to probably experience some detoxification symptoms in the form of maybe a rash or headaches or digestive issues because your body is detoxifying itself. This is the same thing that happens when your root chakra opens or when any of your chakras open. There's some affirmations, if you want to write down these affirmations that you can use for your root chakra. So the ones that are my favorite, my absolute favorite for root chakra is I am right here, right now. I am right here, right now. I am present moment awareness. Because the more that you're in your present moment, the more that you're just present in general, right? A lot of us with all of the different things that we have distracting us, especially as a woman, where we have all of these things that demand our attention, whether you're a mother or not, you know, there's a lot of things that demand our attention and we're typically the ones that run the household. And regardless if that's true or not, we're very distracted by these guys, by our phones, and can frequently find ourselves scrolling. One of my biggest pet peeves is when I go to dinner with people and everybody's on their phone. My husband and I actually have a rule that when we go to dinner, the phones are off so that we're being present in the moment. We like to go for walks downstairs in the park and we don't take our phones with us because we're being present in the moment. So that's the reason that these are really good affirmations for the root chakra, because it brings you back to that present state, that grounded state. And it's like just being in the present moment. Yes, maddening when everybody is on their phones. I totally agree. Two other affirmations for the root chakra are I am centered and balanced. I am centered and balanced. And I am grounded to the earth. I'm grounded to the earth. So, things that can cause root chakra blockage. I don't know if I included this here. Yeah, fear of needs not being met, financial struggle, unable to feed family or self, physical injury. I had my root chakra blocked for a really long time because of experiences that happened in my childhood, like forever. How can I help? Hold on a second. Luke's Siri is listening to me. So things that I experienced in my childhood, my parents got divorced, and that is right. Remember when we talked about like basic needs being met? We talked about stability. Okay. So my parents got divorced when I was 5. And yes, Siri needs to be balanced. Exactly. My parents got divorced when I was 5, and years and years and years and years and years and years later, after I had obviously adjusted and been used to that and created my own life and, you know, met my own husband, I found when I started working with my healer that my root chakra was blocked. And I was like, how is my root chakra blocked? Like I have a stable home, everything's good. And she dug kind of deep in there and she was like, this is from like when you were 5. I was like, interesting. So I'm just pointing out that what causes an imbalance or what causes a blockage, it might not be what you think it is. And maybe you think that you've gone through or you've suppressed or you've, you know, focused your attention on other things, and something can come, not necessarily come back, but it can be affecting you in your current reality. So second chakra is the sacral chakra. The second chakra is the sacral chakra. And let me make sure I spell this right. Svadhisthana, that W is pronounced like a V. Svadhisthana is how you say that in Sanskrit. Sva means one's own, and Adhisthana means dwelling place. So one's own dwelling place is what this means. And this is the chakra that houses your emotions and your passions and your pleasures and the things that emotionally satiate you and give you energy, give you joy, the things that are sacred to you. Your creative and your sexual energy center is this part of your body. And as you can see, you can't really tell from this picture, but just for your awareness, this is the Svadhisthana, the sacral chakra. It's located below your belly button, just below your belly button. And it's linked to your intimacy, your connection, your sexual energy, your fertility, and your reproduction. So if you have experienced fertility issues, then you might want to look into your sacral chakra. A lot of times in the Western medicine world, we have some healthcare professionals that if, for example, I'm just using fertility as an example, if that was something that a woman was struggling with and she goes to a doctor, the doctor is going to be like, oh, let's do IVF. Let's, do hormone therapy, right? But I would urge you and challenge you to look into your energy centers and look at a natural way of healing and maybe see if there's something blocking your sacral chakra, as the sacral chakra can actually cause reproductive issues. And I know a lot of people that have gone down the natural path and looked into their energy centers, and it has created an opening for them to be able to step into something that they thought was not possible for them. So when your sacral chakra is performing optimally, you are content, you are uninhibited in your relationships and your creative endeavors, and you are capable of deep intimacy, and you exude a joyful vibrancy. So when it's underactive or overactive, I'm going to do underactive first. Underactive, you might have a low libido. You might have issues around sex or intimacy. You might have fertility issues or gynecological challenges. You might have struggles with creative endeavors, like you just can't let your creative juices flow. You might have lack of creative insights or fulfillments, and relationship issues or emotional dissatisfaction. When it's overactive, you might find yourself having overwhelming emotions, mood swings, excessive highs and excessive lows, dramatic situations in relationships, over dependence on other people, jealousy, possessiveness, and sexual addiction, or any other addiction. This can be affected, as I mentioned earlier, by baggage from your root chakra, which prevents you from feeling safe or experiencing joy. And it has a lot to do with how we can handle our work-life balance, and this can affect that chakra as well. So some of the other symptoms of this chakra imbalance could be sexual dysfunction, like I mentioned earlier, low libido, addiction to substances, pelvic pain, low back pain, hormonal issues, urinary issues, sciatica. Could also cause guilt, emotional imbalance, mood disorders, lack of fulfillment, boredom, and dissatisfaction overall with life. And the organs that it affects, or that it potentially affects, are your liver, your sexual organs, your hormones, your upper intestines, and your spleen. So I think I mentioned the color is orange. The color is orange. So these are from my Instagram, these posts that I'm pulling up, and let me figure out how to close this really quick. So scrolling down here to the Svadhisthana, and see what's on here. Similar things, and these are all things that I mentioned here, but if you want to take a photo of this, if I was talking too fast, if you want to write this down, location is pelvic region. And the element that correlates with your sacral chakra is water. So the reason I'm telling you the elements is because these modalities intertwine. So like I mentioned, chakra studies came from India, but when we're talking about the element, the reason that we're talking about the element is because that can correlate easily with other modalities from other areas. And if you've never heard this before, water is the element of emotion. It's one of the main reasons, or it's one of the top reasons why I'm so very, very interested in water and the quality of it. And I'm always talking about it because when you surround yourself with a lot of water, interestingly enough, you might find that you're more emotional than when you are not surrounded with water. It's also very healing for your sacral chakra to be in living waters. So going into the ocean, going into a river, going into a lake, going into a water that's alive. So when the sacral chakra is balanced, like I said, it's easier for you to tap into your creativity, feel joyful, and be confident in manifesting your choices. So here's a few ways to balance your sacral chakra. Keeping your muscles strong and healthy is one. Hip opening stretches, yoga. Hip opening yoga stretches is my absolute favorite way to open my sacral chakra. Wear the color orange. Orange is not my color, so I don't really like to wear the color orange, but if orange is your color, then that's a great way for you to open your sacral chakra. Limit your exposure to energy drain. So things that drain your energy, people that drain your energy, kind of pull back a little bit from those things, and that's going to help you have a more freely flowing sacral chakra. Eat foods that are orange, meditate on the sacral and the throat chakra. And the reason that you would do either or is because there's actually a direct connection between your throat chakra and your sacral chakra. And we're probably not going to get to the throat chakra today. But another thing that's very interesting, and just also if you ever feel like that, like tingly butterfly feeling in your belly, that's because a lot of people are driven by their sacral energy, and this area, like your gut, is your second brain. And so that's also something that I'm learning in my nutrition course. And I also find it so super interesting how all of these different studies and modalities intertwine and connect. So another way to open your sacral chakra is develop communication skills and spend time dancing. So especially twerking, super great sacral chakra opener. When your sacral chakra opens, you will likely feel warm tingling in your lower abdomen because your energy is going to begin to flow again. You might have changes in your digestive system, changes in your hormonal or reproductive shifts. You might have more sexual energy, more pleasure in overall activities, even eating and drinking, and be more inclined to participate in hobbies and other pleasurable pursuits. Some affirmations. Oh, here too. I didn't focus on this, but this chakra, the crystals for this are orange carnelian or calcite or citrine. And these are not the only ones, by the way. This is just like a few that I picked out in my studies because I didn't want to write a whole novel and an Instagram post. Orange spinel is another one that I have here written in my notes. And then the essential oils, sandalwood, jasmine, tangerine, and clary sage. Also, rosewood, lang lang, and orange or tangerine are good. So if you're into essential oils, then these are something that are going to be great for it. I'm actually in the process of creating an essential oils blends store, but I do have essential oils available for each and every one of the chakras that we are discussing, that I specially formulated based on my own research with my certification on this topic. So affirmation for the sacral chakra. First one is, I am a divinely created being. I am a divinely created being. I know I deserve to experience pleasure. I know I deserve to experience pleasure. My body is sacred and I cherish it. My body is sacred and I cherish it. I honor all of my emotions, which can be hard for a lot of us to do. I honor all of my emotions. Okay, so the next one, we are going to be doing solar plexus. Solar plexus. So in Sanskrit, the solar plexus is the Manipura. Manipura. And Manipura means lustrous gem. So this is the lustrous gem chakra. This is located, the color of it is yellow. It's located above your belly button. Okay, so we've done base of spine, just below your belly button and above your belly button. This serves as our personal energy center. It relates to our personal identity and power, our willpower, our confidence. It's the core, right? It's kind of the core of where we are, the core of who we are as individuals. governs your self-esteem, your ability to achieve your goals, your ability to carry out the things that you set forth to accomplish. When it's functioning optimally, you're going to have a strong sense of self, and this strong sense of self will not be able to be shaken. You're going to have confidence in who you are, confidence in what you want. You're going to have belief and grit to accomplish your dreams, your goals, your desires. You're going to have innate self-confidence. It's all about that inner confidence and the ability to be true to who you really are, instead of trying to be somebody that you think somebody else wants you to be, or somebody that you know somebody else wants you to be because they've actually tried to program you and change you to be that person, right? So ability to just be your true self, step into that true self and be proud of that true self, to be the real you. That's when your solar plexus is kind of like fully flowing and open. So your underactive symptoms, or what causes underactive, is struggle with being authentic, having self-doubt, being confused about who you really are, your identity, having low self-esteem, having insecurity, having difficulty manifesting your desires, experiencing depression, feeling like life happens to you instead of feeling like life happens for you. So those are things that can cause an underactive solar plexus. Overactive solar plexus is egotistical, controlling, power hungry, obsessive, and perfectionistic. And if y'all knew how much of a perfectionist I can be, this one really resonates with me. Feeling drained as a result of unmanifested desires. Hyperactive, manic energy, followed by an intense crash. So just kind of like those highs and lows, but it's kind of like when you consume an energy drink and you're like, go, go, go really fast. And then the energy drink wears off and you crash. Now, I used to drink energy drinks all the time. I don't drink them anymore, but that is semblance to what that happens to your energy whenever you are in an overactive solar plexus space. So symptoms are bloating, digestive issues, such as IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome, constipation, leaky gut, having nausea, indigestion, fatigue, lethargy, difficulty concentrating, restlessness, agitation, gallstones, liver issues, pancreatic disorders such as diabetes, and anxiety. So the organs that are affected are your abdominal organs, your stomach, your liver, your gallbladder, your spleen, and your pancreas. These are all abdominal organs. So I'm going to tell you a quick story. And I don't know if this is too much information, but I'm going to tell you anyways. So when I first started learning this stuff and I got my certification, I was living in California. And we were considering moving to Florida, where we live now. So we had come out to Florida in June of 2020, and we were looking at apartments and like deciding if this is the area that we wanted to move to from California. And during that time, I did not have a Kangen machine. I wasn't drinking enough water. My nutrition wasn't ideal. I was actually in the process of trying to cut some things that were not as good for me out of my diet, but I wasn't adding back those nutrients. And I know I told you that story. So definitely check out my YouTube channel if you haven't seen the previous calls, because I go in depth on that and how like important it is for you to have guidance whenever you change your lifestyle, and just jumping right into it isn't always the best idea. So I had a urinary tract infection, and former me would have gone to the doctor and they would have given me some kind of antibiotic for that, right? And if you've ever had a urinary tract infection and you've gone that route, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I didn't want to do that. So instead, I was like, I wonder if this chakra stuff really works. So my mentor, the one that taught me a lot of this information, she had at the time YouTube videos of each different meditation for each different chakra. So I started to listen to them. Solar plexus and sacral chakra, solar plexus and sacral chakra. And I would listen to them, one in the morning and one at night. And within 4 days, my UTI was completely gone. I didn't change anything else. I did drink a little bit more water, but other than that, I didn't change anything else. I didn't take any medication. I didn't do anything else differently. So I'm just sharing that story with you so that you can see the power of something like this. I've also used a throat chakra meditation to get rid of a sore throat. I've used a third eye meditation to get rid of a headache. And we're not going to talk about either one of those chakras today, the throat or the third eye, but I'm just sharing with you that this energy center stuff, if this is stuff to you, or if you just are very newly exposed to this and wondering if it's like mumbo jumbo or what a lot of people call woo woo, I encourage you to try it and try using some of these other methods that I've given you to share, to open these chakras and see if it makes a difference for you. So here we are on solar plexus, diaphragm. So the diaphragm is right below like your rib cage. It's a muscle that like causes your lungs to contract and expand, just above your belly button. That's the location of the solar plexus chakra. The color is yellow like the sun. The element is fire. The mantra is Ram, which I don't even remember just saying the mantra of the other one, but I did show this picture. They all are something AM. So Ram, Lam, Vam. What causes imbalance? You can, like I said, take a picture of this. We talked about all of this already, but this is how you balance your solar plexus, or some of the ways that you can balance your solar plexus. So like I said, some of these you can use for multiple different chakras. So take a walk in nature. That's going to balance every one of your chakras. It's just going to balance you and center you in general. Nature is, I don't think, underrated with a lot of the people on this call, but it's underrated by a lot of people in the world, how healing and magical it can be just to be in nature. Watching the sunset or watching the sunrise is such a super powerful way to open this chakra. Riding your bike, going hiking, eating foods that are yellow, doing yoga for solar plexus. Particularly powerful for solar plexus is warrior 1, warrior 2, and warrior 3. Wearing yellow clothes and meditation for solar plexus. And then we have our crystals such as yellow citrine, yellow tourmaline, tiger's eye. Ooh, walking on the beach every day. That is a vibe. I love that, Cindy. So crystals, we have yellow citrine, yellow tourmaline, and tiger's eye. And then aromatherapy with the oils. We've got lemongrass. Lemon is also good. Rosemary, peppermint, juniper. And then when your solar plexus opens, you're going to probably experience a range of physical and emotional changes. You're going to have heat in your solar plexus because that's heat building is where this comes from in your body in general. Digestive issues, nausea or bloating or constipation. So the reason I'm telling you that some of these things, some of these less than desirable things could happen when opening the chakras is because sometimes people, when they go down this path and they start to open their chakras up, they feel like they're like, well, I don't feel right, so I'm not going to keep doing this. And you may or may not feel any of these things, but if you do, then it is possibly a symptom that your chakra is opening. So you might feel more sensitive than usual. Your anxiety might be elevated. You might have your old insecurities and self-doubt come up. You might be easily triggered. You might have a need for control, have energy fluctuation, have highs and lows, and you might even have difficulty sleeping. So affirmations for before I go to the affirmations, just really quick. We have LAM for our mantra for the root chakra, LAM, VAM for the sacral chakra, VAM, and RAM for the solar plexus, RAM. So affirmations for the solar plexus. I'm going to give you kind of a long one, so I'm only going to give you 2. So the first one is, I am confident and open with others as to who I am. I am confident and open with others as to who I am. And then my favorite affirmation for the solar plexus chakra is, I am wise in my actions. I am balanced in my emotions, and I am peaceful in my mind. I am wise in my actions. I am balanced in my emotions. And I am peaceful in my mind. Beautiful. So I was trying to decide if I was going to start on the heart chakra, and I am. I'm going to go ahead and do the heart chakra. This is how I'm going to do this. The next call that I do is going to be part 2 of the chakras, and we'll go over the last 3. And then at the end, I will lead you through a 7 chakra guided meditation on the next call. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the heart chakra just for time's sake. I want to respect everybody's time. This call did start at 7:30 and it will go till maybe a little bit over 8:30. But I do want to go ahead and do the heart chakra so that next call I can lead you through a guided meditation. So the heart chakra is called Anahata. Anahata. And that means unstruck, unhurt, unbeaten. And it is in your heart center, right in the center of your chest. The color of the heart chakra is green. And as it probably makes perfect sense, the heart chakra is the energy center that governs your love, your ability to love others, and your ability to allow yourself to be loved by others. It has the qualities of compassion, of empathy, and of forgiveness. It is your connection center. So it's how you are able to connect with other people, and it's how you are able to connect with yourself. It is the energetic bridge between your physical and your spiritual realms. Now, what I mean by that is these first 3 chakras, the root, the solar plexus, the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus, those are your physical chakras. And then the last 3 that we're going to go over on the next call, those are your spiritual chakras. So your heart is the energetic bridge between the physical and the spiritual. So the first 3 and the last 3. Excuse me. When your heart chakra is optimally functioning, you're going to emit a loving energy. You're going to attract love and energy like that to you. You're going to be capable of loving yourself and of loving others, giving love and receiving love. You're going to be deeply connected to yourself, deeply connected to nature, deeply connected in your relationships. You're going to enjoy harmonious energy exchanges. You're going to see the good in everyone and the good in everything. You're going to appreciate the beauty in all things, even the smallest of things. When your heart chakra is underactive, your heart is closed off. You might feel emotionally closed off or numb. You might struggle with giving love, struggle with receiving love, kind of like a wall is up. Like you don't let people in. Like you're very standoffish. Like you're protecting yourself from getting hurt. You struggle. You find it difficult to forgive people. You find yourself isolating yourself. You lack empathy. You lack compassion. You feel disconnected. You're overly critical of yourself, overly critical of other people. And just to reiterate, you lack self-love at the deepest level. And when your heart chakra is overactive, you're overly connecting to people. You're giving too much of yourself. You're doing everything for everyone, and you're actually placing yourself last. You find yourself codependent, where you're only happy if somebody else is happy. And that's normally a significant other, where you appear like you're loving, but really it's because you feel incomplete. And giving and serving all these people makes you feel like this hole is filled, but it's not actually filling the hole because you're depleting yourself. You neglect your own emotions. You lack boundaries. You always say yes, even to your own detriment. Even if it drives you further down, even if it breaks you, right? This is what happens when your heart chakra is overactive. You have an intense fear of abandonment. You feel jealous, you feel possessive, and you are emotionally dependent. That just described me 7 years ago. So that everything I just said just described me 7 years ago, before I found any of this information, before I knew where my traumas and triggers came from, before I realized that I had a fear of abandonment, before I realized that codependency was something I could ever be. That was me. Okay. So symptoms: chest pain, heart disease. Now these symptoms can happen if you allow those overactive and underactive symptoms to continue for long periods of time without addressing it in some way, without seeking healing in some way. So symptoms are chest pain, heart disease, respiratory issues, maybe asthma, restlessness, palpitations, shortness of breath, panic attacks, depression, insomnia, lacking energy, severe immune system deficiencies to the point of developing autoimmune diseases, and having shoulder pain and upper back pain. So that is our heart. Let's look at the little thing I prepared from Instagram. So here, like I said, you can take a picture of this. The location is the heart, right? Heart chakra is located in the heart. Color is green, like nature, green like the earth. The element is air, like the flowing of love, giving and receiving love. The mantra is yam. And imbalances are typically caused by abandonment. I talked about this in all the other ones, but this I really want to point out because I feel like the heart chakra is something that a lot of people experience imbalances in. And that could be said for pretty much everything I've already talked about, but abandonment, physical abuse, emotional abuse, being belittled, early loss of a loved one. I had experienced all of those items, which again is why that overactive description described perfectly myself 7 years ago. And then we have, how do we open the heart chakra? How do we balance it? Deep breathing exercises, telling yourself, I love you. I highly recommend doing this. Do it when you get off this call. Go in the mirror, look at yourself in your eyes and say the words, I love you. Look at yourself in your eyes and say, I love you. And I know it might feel awkward if you've never done that before, but say it until it doesn't feel awkward. And if it was challenging or you couldn't even bring yourself to do it, say it, try it every day. Do it every day, once a day, twice a day, every morning, every night, whatever you can allow yourself to do. It might sound silly if you've never tried this, but telling yourself I love you is one of the most underrated things that you can do to actually promote self-love. And when you experience self-love, your heart chakra opens. Eating green foods, so eat the vegetables, eat the greens, definitely is going to open the heart chakra. Put your hands over your heart, left over right or right over left, whichever resonates with you more, and send nurturing energy to yourself. And that's actually self-Reiki as well. Hands over heart, send nurturing energy to yourself. Imagine I'm sending loving, healing energy into myself. Practice giving love and receiving love. And some people, even receiving a compliment is a challenge. Like if somebody compliments you, you can't receive the compliment. You like explain it away, which I used to do as well. Tai Chi, Qigong, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, and yoga are phenomenal ways to open the heart chakra. Wear the color green. Practice gratitude regularly on a daily basis is preferable, and spending time in nature. Remember, I said spending time in nature is going to open each of the chakras, all of them that we're going to discuss. And then you can use healing crystals like the rose quartz, which is actually the highest vibrational crystal. You can use jade, green aventurine, green tourmaline. And if you want to use aromatherapy, essential oils, heart chakras include rose, geranium, frankincense, and frankincense is good for all chakras, bergamot, neroli, and lavender. And when your heart chakra starts to open, you're going to possibly feel a surge of emotions. Some of them buried, maybe you thought you dealt with them. Emotional hangover, like you're overwhelmed by your emotions. Heart or chest pain that should be temporary, or insomnia. So these are some of the effects. And then I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. The affirmations that you can use for your heart chakra are, I operate from a foundation of love. I operate from a foundation of love. I love and deeply accept myself. I love and deeply accept myself. My true nature is love. all about the love. My true nature is love, and I open my heart to higher and higher levels of love. So I hope that you found this information educational. Like I said, this is part one. We have talked about the root chakra, the sacral chakra, solar plexus, and heart chakra, which is Manipura, Svadhisthana. Nope, sorry. I said Manipura, and that's not what it's called. Svadhisthana, Muladhara, that's the root chakra. Muladhara, Svadhisthana. Manipura is solar plexus, and Anahata. So those are the 4 chakras that we have talked about. And like I said, this is one of my favorite things to discuss because it's the thing that helped me the most when I was going through my healing journey and I was releasing my traumas and triggers. Again, I know that it was already shared in the chat, but the calls that I've already done, if you've missed any of them, we talked about how to get rid of toxins in your house. We talked about eliminating toxins in your nutritional intake. We talked about shifting your mindset. We talked about releasing traumas and triggers. And so those were the first 4 that we did. There was one more, I can't remember the topic of it, but I highly recommend you go and listen to the unmedicated health. Yes, exactly. Unmedicated health. Thank you. So I highly recommend you go to my YouTube channel and check out those previous calls. And I actually offer as well healing sessions, one-on-one. And I'm soon going to start doing like group things as well. But I offer healing sessions one-on-one, and I use a lot of these principles in my healing sessions. I do a little bit of Reiki, which is actually energy healing, where I can actually tap into your energy and I can feel which chakras are blocked for you. I can open those back up for you and lead you through guided meditation, where we can allow you to feel those chakras opening. And then I also will counsel you on which chakras I find that are blocked, how you can unblock those further, which I just gave you a lot of education on, but everybody is different and not everyone resonates with every single thing that I just said. So it's easier if I'm able to get to know you a little bit more so that I can find out exactly what's going to resonate with you. We can have a discussion about it, and then you can have guidance as you're going through this journey. Because as I mentioned, there's some less than desirable symptoms that can happen when you start to open your chakras, and going through that journey alone and not understanding what you're experiencing can be a little bit of a challenge. And what it can do is it can start you on your healing path, get you stuck in the middle where you're not healed and you still feel a lot of that negative residual emotion, and you don't want to stay there. So if you're going to start on a healing journey, you want to go all the way through to the other side, not get to it where it's really uncomfortable and then stop, because then you're going to feel a lot of unnecessary, less than desirable emotions. And if you don't have someone that's guiding you, then it can be a challenge to get yourself out of that or to understand what's actually happening. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat now. We are going to have our next call on the 17th, and I think it's at 7 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. I'm checking that right now, but I think that Jillian, yeah, 7 p.m. 17th at 7 p.m. is going to be the next call. The next call, I'm going to do a mini recap of the 4 chakras that we just went over. And then I'm going to do throat, third eye, and crown, which are the final 3. And at the end of the next session, I'm going to lead you through a guided 7 chakra meditation. So make sure you pre-register for that call, invite your friends, share the link for my YouTube channel with anybody that you think might be interested in hearing this valuable information. Thank you all for being here, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your week.